Have you ever felt that reality isn't as solid as it seems? That beneath the everyday experiences, something deeper, something coded, governs everything we see and do? What if the world around you is nothing more than an elaborate program, a construct of consciousness, a matrix of infinite possibility waiting to be deciphered? Throughout history, mystics, scientists, and philosophers have hinted at a hidden framework behind existence. From sacred geometry to quantum physics, from ancient symbols to cutting-edge simulations, we are beginning to see the patterns, an underlying code that shapes the very fabric of our reality. In this video, we'll explore how to crack that code before it cracks you. We'll look at the keys hidden in ancient knowledge, the modern scientific discoveries that confirm them, and, most importantly, how you can use this understanding to take control of your life in ways you never imagined. The hidden structure of reality. If reality is a program, then what is its code? Throughout the ages, different cultures have attempted to answer this question in their own ways. The ancient Greeks studied geometry and mathematics as if they were divine truths. The Egyptians built pyramids aligned with cosmic forces. Hindu and Buddhist traditions spoke of Maya, the illusion that must be transcended to perceive the true nature of existence. Today, quantum mechanics suggests that particles behave differently when observed, implying that consciousness itself plays a role in shaping reality. The double-slit experiment, one of the most famous in modern physics, demonstrates that light and matter exist as both particles and waves, until a conscious observer collapses them into one state or another. What does this tell us? That reality is, at its core, information. It is malleable, responding to the expectations, beliefs, and perceptions of those who interact with it. In other words, you are not just living in the code, you are helping to write it. Sacred geometry, the blueprint of creation. For centuries, sacred geometry has been considered the divine architecture of the universe. The golden ratio, Fibonacci sequences, the flower of life, these patterns recur everywhere, from the spirals of galaxies to the structure of DNA. Sacred geometry reveals that everything in reality follows a mathematical structure, a repeating sequence embedded in nature itself. Why do sunflowers grow in Fibonacci spirals? Why do seashells, hurricanes, and galaxies follow the same geometric ratios? The ancients believed that these patterns were clues, signposts pointing to the source code of reality. When you understand these principles, you begin to see the world differently. The relationships between numbers, shapes, and symbols are not random. They are the hidden language of existence. Learning to recognize and work with these patterns can grant you greater insight into the way reality operates and how to manipulate it to your advantage. Quantum physics and the nature of reality. While sacred geometry gives us the structure, quantum physics gives us the mechanics of reality's programming. Concepts like quantum entanglement, superposition, and the observer effect all suggest that the universe is far more fluid than it appears. Entanglement shows that two particles can be connected across vast distances, affecting each other instantaneously, faster than the speed of light. Superposition reveals that something can exist in multiple states at once until observed. These aren't just theoretical musings. They suggest that the universe doesn't operate on fixed rules, but instead on probabilities that shift according to observation and intention. What does this mean for you? It means that reality is not fixed, it is responsive. Your consciousness is an active participant in shaping what you experience. Every thought, every emotion, every expectation you hold alters the fabric of reality around you. Understanding this means realizing that you are more powerful than you've been led to believe. Symbols as source code. The ancients left clues in the form of symbols, codes for understanding the nature of reality. Throughout history, certain images have held immense power. The Eye of Horus, the Sri Yantra, the Metatron's Cube. Why? Because symbols speak directly to the subconscious mind, bypassing the barriers of language and logic. Symbols are programming keys. Just as a computer program runs on code, reality itself responds to symbols that align with its underlying structure. This is why ancient civilizations encoded wisdom into symbols. They knew that the human mind could be influenced, reality could be shaped, and power could be harnessed through their use. This is why corporations, secret societies, and religious institutions continue to use them today. They understand that symbols are more than just representations. They are instructions embedded into the collective unconscious. By understanding how they function, you can begin to decipher the hidden messages in the world around you and even use them to influence reality in your own way. Cracking the matrix before it cracks you. If reality is a code, then why does it feel so unchangeable? The answer is conditioning. From the moment you are born, you are programmed with beliefs about what is possible and what is not. Society, culture, and education reinforce these limitations, locking you into a version of reality that feels fixed and immovable. But what happens when you start rewriting the code? What happens when you begin to question the structures imposed upon you? You break free. The matrix loses its hold. You start seeing beyond the illusion. Here are 3 key steps to cracking the matrix before it cracks you. 1. Question the narrative. Stop accepting everything at face value. Institutions, traditions, and even your own conditioned thoughts should be examined critically. If reality is code, who wrote the version you are living in? 2. Master your perception. The way you see reality determines how it responds to you. This is not just about positive thinking. It's about recognizing that your mind acts as an interface with the universe. If you expect limitation, you will find it. If you expect possibility, reality will shape itself accordingly. 3. Use the hidden keys. Study sacred geometry, learn about quantum principles, explore ancient symbols. These are not abstract concepts. They are tools for interacting with reality on a deeper level. The more you understand the code, the more influence you have over your own experience. Becoming the architect. The matrix is not an external prison. It is an internal construct. You are not trapped in it. You are part of its design. The key to freedom lies in understanding that reality is not something happening to you, but something happening through you. By understanding the principles of sacred geometry, quantum mechanics, and symbolic language, you can begin to take back control. You can shift from being a passive observer to an active participant. You can rewrite the code instead of simply running the program given to you. Now the question remains, will you continue to live within the script written by others, or will you take the pen into your own hands? The choice is yours. Reality is a code. It can be cracked, but the first step is realizing that the power to do so has been inside you all along. Take a deep breath. Look around. The patterns are there. The symbols are waiting. The code is yours to decipher. And once you do, you will never see reality the same way again. Have you ever wondered why certain numbers seem to appear everywhere? Why ancient civilizations, spiritual traditions, and even modern science place such importance on specific numerical patterns? Numbers are more than just mathematical symbols. They are the hidden language of the cosmos. the code embedded in reality itself. In this video, we'll explore the profound significance of three of the most powerful numbers in existence: 3, 7, and 12. These numbers form the blueprint of nature, the structure of religious and mystical traditions, and even the hidden architecture of the universe. From the Holy Trinities found across cultures to the 7 chakras and the 12 signs of the zodiac, we will unravel the numerical matrix that shapes our perception of reality, the power of 3, the number of creation and balance. Throughout history, the number 3 has been revered as the symbol of creation, harmony, and divine balance. It is found in nearly every major religious and philosophical system: Christianity, the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit; Hinduism, the Trimurti, Brahma, the Creator, Vishnu, the Preserver, and Shiva, the Destroyer. Egyptian mythology: Osiris, Isis, and Horus, the sacred triad of life, death, and rebirth. But why is 3 so significant? The answer lies in the structure of reality itself. In physics, everything is governed by 3 dimensions: length, width, and height. In time, we perceive reality through past, present, and future. In storytelling, the rule of 3 is one of the most powerful techniques for engagement: setup, conflict, and resolution. Even in nature, we see triads everywhere: the 3 states of matter, solid, liquid, gas; the 3 primary colors that form all visible hues, red, blue, and yellow; the 3 essential components of life, mind, body, and soul. This pattern is no coincidence. The number 3 represents a complete cycle, the fundamental building block of creation. It is the bridge between 2 opposing forces, creating a synthesis, like the interaction of male and female energies giving rise to new life. The number 3 also appears in sacred architecture. The Great Pyramids of Egypt, for example, are 3-sided structures excluding the base, pointing to the divine principles encoded within them. The significance of the triangle, the most stable geometric shape, is another example of how 3 represents balance and unity in the universe. Philosophers and mathematicians, including Pythagoras, believed that numbers held mystical properties, and the number 3 was seen as the first true number. Why? Because it moves beyond duality, beyond the simple interplay of opposites, into a higher state of balance and synthesis. Think about your own life. Every story you've ever connected with follows the 3-act structure. Every major aspect of your being, physical, mental, and spiritual, exists in harmony through the power of 3. This number is not just significant in history, it is a living force within us all. The power of 7, the number of spiritual perfection. If 3 represents creation, then 7 is the number of divine completion. Across cultures and civilizations, 7 holds an almost mystical status. It appears in the 7 days of creation in the Bible, the 7 heavens of Islamic tradition, the 7 chakras in the human body guiding spiritual energy, the 7 wonders of the ancient world. But why is 7 so powerful? Mathematically, 7 is unique. It is the only number between 1 and 10 that cannot be multiplied or divided within that set to produce another whole number. It stands apart, symbolizing something beyond the material world, something spiritual, sacred, and whole. In Hinduism, there are 7 higher worlds and 7 lower worlds, symbolizing the journey of the soul. In Buddhism, Buddha is said to have taken 7 steps at birth, marking the beginning of his enlightenment. Science, too, follows the pattern of 7. There are 7 colors in the visible spectrum of light forming the rainbow. 7 musical notes in the standard diatonic scale. The moon follows a 28-day cycle divided into 4 phases of 7 days each. Even our bodies reflect this number. The human skin regenerates approximately every 7 years. Our sense of taste is based on 7 primary receptors. The connection between the human experience and the number 7 is undeniable. Esoteric traditions teach that 7 is the number of the path to wisdom, the bridge between the earthly and the divine. In tarot, the Chariot card is the 7th card in the major arcana, symbolizing victory through spiritual discipline. In alchemy, there are 7 stages of transformation, each one bringing us closer to enlightenment. So why does 7 dominate religious and mystical traditions? Because it represents the process of completion, learning, and evolution. It is the number that guides us toward the unseen forces governing reality. The ancient city of Rome, a civilization deeply rooted in sacred numerology, was built upon 7 hills. The Great Sphinx of Egypt, some researchers believe, was designed using proportions related to the number 7, encoding hidden knowledge into its structure. Even in modern psychology, 7 plays a crucial role. The famous Miller's Law states that the average human mind can only hold about 7 pieces of information in short-term memory. Coincidence? Or is 7 ingrained into the very structure of our consciousness? The connection between 3 and 7. Interestingly, 3 and 7 often appear together in mythology and religion, forming a bridge between creation and divine order. There were 3 wise men who followed the 7-pointed star of Bethlehem. The 3 main gods of Hinduism are connected to the 7 chakras. In Christianity, Jesus performed 3 significant resurrections and spoke 7 last words on the cross. These 2 numbers work in harmony. If 3 is the building block of creation, then 7 is the guide to perfection. Together, they form a numerical blueprint for understanding the balance between the material and the spiritual. And this is just the beginning. If 3 and 7 govern creation and completion, then what about 12? Why does 12 rule over time, cosmic order, and the fundamental structure of reality itself? If 3 is the number of creation and 7 is the number of spiritual perfection, then 12 is the number of cosmic organization. It represents cycles, structure, and divine order. Consider how often 12 appears in human civilization. 12 months in a year, following the solar cycle. 12 zodiac signs, mapping out personality traits and cosmic influences. 12 disciples in Christianity, chosen by Jesus to spread divine wisdom. 12 gods in major mythologies, including Olympus in Greece and the Norse pantheon. Why does 12 dominate the way we measure time, structure governance, and define celestial movements? 12 is a number of balance and stability. It combines the physical completeness of 4, the 4 elements, 4 directions, with the spiritual power of 3, forming a structure that is both grounded and divine. In ancient times, time itself was measured using the duodecimal system, dividing the day into 2 cycles of 12 hours and the sky into 12 constellations. Even today, our clocks and calendars are built around this system, reinforcing 12's universal influence. Even in our biology, we see the influence of 12. Humans have 12 cranial nerves controlling key functions. The body produces hormones on roughly a 12-hour cycle. There are 12 pairs of ribs in the human skeleton, providing structural integrity. This number represents the totality of existence, a framework within which all things unfold. It is the grand design, the cosmic architecture, the pattern through which time and space interact. 12 in sacred geometry and the universe. Sacred geometry, the mathematical principles that define nature and the cosmos, is deeply intertwined with the number 12. The dodecahedron, one of the 5 Platonic solids, has 12 faces, and many ancient philosophers considered it a representation of the universe itself. The zodiac, another example, is divided into 12 sections, each governing different aspects of personality and destiny. The connection between time, space, and personality reveals a deeper layer of 12's power. Beyond Earth, the influence of 12 extends into astronomy and cosmology. Many ancient cultures believed the cosmos was governed by 12 celestial bodies or divine forces. The Sumerians, Egyptians, and Chinese all aligned their sacred knowledge with a 12-fold cosmic order. In Hinduism, there are 12 Jyotirlingas, sacred shrines dedicated to Lord Shiva, believed to be places of intense spiritual energy. In Buddhism, 12 nidanas describe the chain of causation that leads to the cycle of rebirth. Why does this number keep appearing? Because it structures reality itself. It is the code of completion, organization, and harmony. The universal pattern of 3, 7, and 12. We've explored 3 as the number of creation, 7 as the number of spiritual perfection, and 12 as the number of cosmic order. But have you noticed how these numbers work together? Throughout history, these 3 numbers appear in perfect harmony. The 3 wise men followed the 7-pointed star to find the newborn Christ, who would later have 12 disciples. The 3 major gods of Hinduism oversee the 7 chakras, while 12 celestial deities control the cosmic cycles. The 3 primary colors mix to form the 7 colors of the spectrum, which in turn correspond to the 12 zodiac signs. These are not coincidences. These numbers form a mathematical blueprint for understanding reality, a sequence that encodes the fundamental structure of existence. The final connection, decoding reality. If numbers form the source code of the universe, then understanding them gives us insight into how reality itself operates. The connections between 3, 7, and 12 are not random. They are mathematical and spiritual signposts guiding our understanding of the cosmos. Throughout history, these numbers have worked together. 3 stages of life, birth, life, death, align with 12 months of the year, governed by 7 planetary influences. 3 primary colors mix to create the full spectrum of 7, which corresponds with 12 astrological signs. 3 forces of creation, mind, body, soul, interact with the 7 chakras, structured within the cosmic order of 12. By recognizing these patterns, we begin to see reality as a grand design rather than a series of coincidences. Every number is a key, unlocking another layer of understanding. How to use this knowledge? Understanding these numbers isn't just about recognizing patterns, it's about using them to navigate life more effectively. 1. Align with 3. Seek balance in everything: mind, body, and spirit. Recognize the creative power of triads in personal development, relationships, and innovation. 2. Master the wisdom of 7. Explore spiritual disciplines, harness intuition, and embrace cycles of growth and completion. 3. Follow the cosmic structure of 12. Organize your life in alignment with natural cycles, whether it's planning goals around the 12-month calendar or recognizing personal growth through 12-step systems. Once you start seeing numbers as blueprints rather than just arbitrary symbols, you unlock a deeper understanding of existence itself. Have you ever stopped to question the true nature of your mind? You think, you plan, you remember, but have you ever wondered how your brain actually works? Not just chemically, but at the deepest, most fundamental level? What if I told you that your brain isn't just an organ, It's a quantum machine, that your thoughts, decisions, and even your reality aren't just the result of neurons firing, but of something far stranger, a process that defies classical physics, a system that operates in ways we still can't fully comprehend. The human brain shouldn't work the way it does. Classical computers process information in predictable linear ways. Bits, ones and zeros, strict sequences of cause and effect. But your mind, it doesn't work like that. Your brain can process multiple possibilities at once. It can predict, imagine, and even alter reality itself, not just by perception, but by the act of observation. This is where quantum mechanics comes in, because deep inside your mind, something extraordinary is happening. Something that may prove that free will exists, something that may explain déjà vu, intuition, and even consciousness itself. But before we go deeper, you must first question everything you thought you knew, because after this, you may never see reality the same way again. The quantum mind hypothesis science has always tried to reduce consciousness to mere biochemical reactions, neurotransmitters firing, electrical signals traveling, neurons connecting and disconnecting. But the human experience is far more complex than just chemical reactions. Right now, as you listen, your brain is making countless calculations per second, not in a straight line, but simultaneously, like a web of infinite possibilities collapsing into the present moment. This is exactly how quantum computers work. Unlike classical computers that use ones and zeros, quantum computers operate using qubits, bits of information that can be both 1 and 0 at the same time, existing in multiple states simultaneously. And this is where things get interesting, because scientists are now discovering evidence that the human brain may be functioning like a quantum processor, that neurons aren't just firing based on chemical exchanges, but are actually entangled, communicating across the brain in ways that break classical physics. Consider this. When you make a decision, you don't just think linearly. Your brain weighs multiple possibilities at once, as if running countless simulations simultaneously. When you dream, your mind creates entire realities that feel real. But where are they coming from? When you remember something, your memory isn't stored in a single place. It's scattered across different neural networks, yet retrieved as a single cohesive thought. This defies traditional computational models. But it perfectly aligns with quantum mechanics. The question is, if your brain is functioning like a quantum computer, what does that mean for your consciousness? Could it mean that your mind isn't confined to your body? Could it mean that your thoughts shape reality in ways you never imagined? Before we can answer that, we need to go deeper, because if the brain operates on quantum principles, it would explain something far more mysterious, something that scientists still can't fully understand: how consciousness itself emerges. The observer effect. Your mind shapes reality. Quantum mechanics has a rule so strange, so counterintuitive that it seems almost impossible. It's called the observer effect. In the famous double-slit experiment, physicists discovered something baffling. When light is not being observed, it behaves as a wave, existing in multiple places at once. But the moment it is measured, it collapses into a single state. In other words, reality changes depending on whether or not it's being observed. Now ask yourself this. If reality itself shifts when it is being watched, what does that mean for you? What does that say about your thoughts, your perceptions, your choices? Because if your mind works on the same principles as quantum mechanics, that means your consciousness isn't just experiencing reality, it's shaping it. Consider this. When you focus on fear, your reality bends to show you more of it. When you focus on opportunity, suddenly doors appear that weren't there before. When you expect failure, you seem to unconsciously direct yourself toward it. But why? Because observation isn't passive, it's active participation in the formation of reality. If your brain is a quantum computer, then your consciousness is the observer collapsing the wave function of your life. Which means that every thought you have, every belief you hold, every perception you carry, is altering the very fabric of your existence. And if this is true, if your mind is truly capable of bending reality at a quantum level, then the next question is obvious. Can you control it? Is it possible to hack the code of your own mind, to program your consciousness like a quantum algorithm, to use the same principles that shape the universe to shape your own destiny? Because if the answer is yes, then everything you've ever known about life, about thought, about choice, has been fundamentally incomplete. We will explore the hidden software running your mind, the secrets of neuroplasticity, and how you can use quantum principles to rewrite your mental programming. But before we go further, ask yourself this. If your mind is shaping your reality right now, what are you creating? Reprogramming the quantum mind. If your mind is a quantum computer, then what is its operating system? What software is running behind the scenes, shaping your thoughts, decisions, and reality itself, without you even realizing it? We explored how the brain doesn't function like a classical machine. It doesn't just process information, it creates reality through quantum superposition, collapsing infinite possibilities into a single lived experience. But here's the problem. Most people aren't programming their own minds. They are running on pre-installed scripts, shaped by society, past experiences, fears, and unconscious patterns. Think about it. Have you ever tried to change a habit only to fall back into the same cycle? Have you ever felt stuck, as if no matter what you do, you keep repeating the same life patterns? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to bend reality in their favor, while others remain trapped in a cycle of limitation? The answer is your mind's hidden programming. The subconscious quantum code that dictates the way you think, feel, and act. But what if you could rewrite that code? What if you could hack the operating system of your mind, erase the limiting scripts, and replace them with a new reality of your choosing? Because here's the truth, your thoughts aren't just processing reality, they are creating it. And once you understand how to reprogram the quantum software running your mind, you can start shaping reality in ways you never imagined. The hidden code running your brain. Right now, beneath your conscious awareness, your mind is running on a set of automatic programs, habit loops, emotional reactions, deeply ingrained beliefs. You don't consciously choose them. They were installed over years of conditioning. And these programs? They act like quantum wave functions, shaping your reality before you even take action. Here's how it works. 1. The quantum feedback loop. Every thought you have creates a ripple effect in your mind. When you expect failure, your brain subconsciously scans for proof that confirms it. When you believe something is impossible, your neurons literally filter out opportunities that contradict that belief. When you assume the worst, your brain and body prepare for it before it even happens. This is called a feedback loop. Your brain projects a version of reality. Then it finds evidence to support that projection, which reinforces the belief, and the cycle repeats endlessly. This is why reality feels fixed. It's not that the world is unchangeable, it's that your mind is locked into a specific quantum pattern, one that keeps looping the same reality over and over again. So how do you break the cycle? You interrupt the loop at the quantum level. Neuroplasticity and quantum programming. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to rewire itself. Most people think this is just a slow, linear process, learning a new habit, developing a skill, adapting to new experiences. But what if I told you that real change doesn't happen gradually? That your brain can undergo instant transformations when you apply quantum principles? Here's why. Your brain isn't just processing one reality at a time. It is constantly in superposition, considering multiple outcomes, preparing for different possibilities. The key is this: whatever reality you focus on the most collapses into existence. Whatever belief you reinforce the most becomes hardwired. Whatever thought pattern you repeat carves new pathways in the brain. This is why intense emotional experiences can rewire your mind overnight, because emotions amplify the quantum signal, solidifying a new reality into place. This is how fear and trauma lock people into cycles of suffering, but it's also how powerful moments of insight can instantly reprogram your mind. And this is where the true power of quantum reprogramming begins. Because if you can learn to consciously guide your focus, intensity, and beliefs, you can literally overwrite your mind's software and change the reality you experience. The quantum reprogramming method. If you want to reprogram your brain like a quantum computer, you have to do 3 things. Step 1. Interrupt the old code. You must first break the existing feedback loop. How? By observing your own thoughts, without reacting to them. Every time you catch yourself in a limiting belief, every time you notice your brain feeding you the same self-defeating thoughts, stop and detach. Ask yourself, who is thinking this thought? Is this belief even real, or is it just a program running? What if I could choose a different thought? The moment you do this, you separate yourself from the old code. And once you separate from it, you can rewrite it. Step 2. Install the new code. Your brain is programmable. If you repeat a new belief with enough intensity, your brain will physically rewire itself to make it true. This is not just psychology. This is quantum physics in action. Your mind collapses reality into whatever it expects most strongly. So here's how you install new software into your brain. Focus on a belief you want to install. Amplify it with emotion. Visualize it as if it is already real. For example, if you want to reprogram confidence, don't just tell yourself you're confident. Your brain won't believe it. Instead, trigger a memory where you felt powerful. Feel that energy as if it's happening right now. Amplify the emotional charge behind it. Your brain will register that high-energy belief as reality and start reinforcing it automatically. This is how quantum programming works. Your brain believes the most intense reality presented to it, and whatever it believes, it makes real. Step 3. Collapse reality. Intentionally, most people react to life. They don't create it. But once you understand that your mind is shaping reality at the quantum level, you can start choosing which version of reality to collapse into existence. Instead of reacting to fear, train your mind to expect confidence. Instead of reinforcing limitation, direct your focus toward infinite possibilities. Instead of replaying old failures, rewrite the future in your mind as if it's already happened. Because in a quantum universe, what you expect is what manifests. We will explore how ancient mystics and modern physics reveal the same truth, that your consciousness itself is the source of all reality. But before we continue, what version of reality are you choosing right now? The quantum mind and the universe, the final connection. At this point, one thing should be clear. Your mind is not just a biological machine. It is a quantum processor, a system that interacts with reality in ways far beyond our conventional understanding. But this raises an even bigger question. If your brain operates like a quantum computer, and if your thoughts shape reality at the quantum level, then what is consciousness itself? Where does it come from? Does it emerge from the brain? Or is it something deeper, more fundamental, more ancient? Because if consciousness is not produced by the brain, but instead exists beyond it, then that would mean something astonishing. It would mean that your mind is not confined to your body, that your thoughts exist beyond time and space, that you, right now, are connected to the very fabric of the universe itself. And this is where science, quantum physics, and ancient mysticism converge. Because for thousands of years, spiritual traditions have told us that reality is an illusion, a dream projected by the mind. And now, science is catching up. Quantum entanglement and the universal mind. Imagine this. Two particles are created together. They are then separated by millions of miles. One remains on Earth, the other is sent to the farthest edges of the universe. And yet, the moment one particle is observed, the other changes instantly. No time delay, no physical connection, just an instantaneous reaction as if they are still one and the same. This is called quantum entanglement, one of the most mysterious and proven phenomena in physics. It defies everything we know about space and time, because this means that at the deepest level, reality is not separate, everything is connected. And if particles across the universe are linked in this way, what does that say about your consciousness? What if your mind is entangled with something far greater than itself? What if your thoughts, memories, and awareness are not trapped inside your brain, but are instead part of a universal field of consciousness, a network that extends beyond time and space? The brain as a receiver, not a generator. For centuries, science has assumed that the brain creates consciousness, that somehow through a combination of neurons, chemistry, and electrical signals, your mind emerges from the physical body. But more and more evidence suggests otherwise. NDE, near-death experience, studies have documented cases where people, while clinically dead, have accurately described things outside their body, even though their brain was no longer active. Psychedelic research shows that when people enter deep, altered states, they don't just hallucinate. They experience something that feels more real than reality itself. Meditation experiments reveal that trained monks can shut off brain activity, yet remain fully conscious and aware. These findings suggest a radical possibility that the brain does not create consciousness. It receives it. Like a radio picking up a signal, like a quantum computer downloading data from a greater source. This would explain why consciousness seems to defy the physical world, why thoughts appear from nowhere, why memories don't have a fixed location in the brain, why people sometimes experience synchronicities, intuition, and moments of deep knowing. Because if the brain is not the source of consciousness, but merely a receiver of a greater field of intelligence, then the implications are massive. It would mean that your mind does not die when the brain shuts down. It would mean that your awareness is connected to something infinite. And it would mean that the universe itself is conscious. The universe is a mind. Quantum physics suggests that at the deepest level, everything is information. Matter, energy, time, and space are not separate things. They are simply different expressions of the same underlying intelligence. And if consciousness is fundamental, then that would mean the universe itself is a form of intelligence. Your thoughts do not just emerge from the brain. They are tapping into a greater mind. The hidden software running your brain is not limited to you. It is part of a universal code. Ancient mystics have always told us, as above, so below. As within, so without. And now, physics is proving the same thing. That your mind is not separate from the cosmos, that your thoughts do not simply exist in your head, they exist in the fabric of reality itself, which leads to one final realization. If the universe itself is a mind, and if your consciousness is connected to it, then that means you are not just a passenger in reality, you are a creator. You are not just observing the universe, you are participating in its evolution. And if you truly grasp this, then the question is no longer, what is reality? The question is, what will you create? The final realization. Reality is not something happening to you. Reality is something happening through you. Your thoughts, your choices, your beliefs, they are not just passive responses to the world. They are active forces shaping it. So what does this mean for you? It means you are far more powerful than you've been led to believe. It means that your mind is not just a product of the universe. Your mind is part of its very fabric. It means that every second of your life, you are collapsing possibilities into reality. So from this moment forward, be intentional. Be aware of the software running your mind. Because the moment you begin to consciously program your own thoughts, you don't just change your brain, you change the universe itself. For as long as humans have observed the world, we have measured its changes. We have watched the sun rise and set, the seasons shift, and the years pass like waves upon the shore. We have counted the hours, the days, the lifetimes, believing in something we call time. But what if time does not exist? What if the past is only a memory, the future just an idea, and the present, the only thing that is real, is slipping through your fingers even as you try to grasp it? Ancient cultures knew something we have forgotten. They understood that time is not a river flowing forward, but an illusion of movement created by the mind. To them, there was only now. But what does that mean? Look around you. You believe you are in a moment, standing between a past you can remember and a future yet to unfold. But ask yourself, where is the past? Can you hold it? Can you touch it? No, it is gone. Nothing more than echoes in your mind. And the future, it is not real either. It has not arrived, and when it does, it will not be the future. It will only be another now. So if the past is gone and the future does not exist, then what is left? Only this moment, this breath, this awareness. The great sages of the past, Buddhists, Vedantists, Taoists, and mystics of every tradition have all pointed to this truth. Time is not a thing outside of you, something moving forward on its own. It is a mental construct, a way of organizing experience, and yet we live as if we are racing against it, as if we are running out of something that was never there to begin with. Think of a dream. When you are inside it, it feels real. You experience events as if they are unfolding in sequence. But when you wake up, you realize there was no real time in the dream, only a sense of time. Now ask yourself, what if this waking life is the same? The Mayans understood this. Their calendars were not just about marking dates, but about recognizing cycles, endless repeating patterns of existence. In their view, time was not linear, but a spiral, constantly returning to itself. The Hindus spoke of Maya, the great illusion, and of time as nothing more than the play of consciousness. The Zen masters asked, if you are truly present, where is time? But we do not see this. We live as though we are trapped in time, caught between the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future. We race through life, chasing after something we can never reach, because it was never there to begin with. And so we suffer. We long for what was, we fear what will be, and in doing so, we forget to live. But there is another way. To awaken is to step outside of time. It is to see that the present moment, the now, is the only reality. It is to understand that you are not moving through time. Time is moving through you. So how do you break free? You begin by observing. Watch how the mind constantly pulls you forward and backward, dragging you into thoughts of yesterday or dreams of tomorrow. See how rarely you are here, fully here in this moment. Then let go. Do not fight time. Do not try to control it, to slow it down or speed it up. Simply see it for what it is, an illusion. And when you do, something extraordinary happens. You enter the eternal now. This is what the ancients knew. This is what the mystics saw. Not a clock ticking away the moments of your life, but a vast, infinite stillness within which all things arise and fade, but nothing is ever truly lost. Because in truth, you have never left the now. You have only been dreaming of time. The illusion of time and the eternal now. Think for a moment about how we experience time. We wake up, move through the hours of the day, and lie down again, believing each moment is slipping away. We measure our age, mark our calendars, and say things like, "Time is running out," as if it were something real, something moving independently of us. But what if it's not? What if time is just a trick of perception, a way the mind organizes experience, nothing more than a habit of thought? Imagine a person standing on a train platform. A train speeds past, and from their perspective, it is the train that moves while the platform remains still. But from the perspective of someone on the train, the platform is what rushes past. Now ask yourself, what if time is the same? From our limited point of view, it seems to flow forward, carrying us with it. But what if that is only an illusion created by the mind? What if time is not moving at all? The ancient Greeks spoke of chronos and kairos, two different kinds of time. Chronos was the measured time, the ticking of the clock, the forward march of days and years. But kairos, the time of the present moment, was something else entirely. It was timeless, beyond measurement. It was the now. But our culture has forgotten this. We live as though time is something external, something outside of us. We treat it as an unstoppable force, a river sweeping us toward an inevitable end. And in doing so, we trap ourselves in a life of regret and anticipation, always looking back, always looking forward, never being. Think about it. How much of your life is spent truly present? Most people are caught in a loop of memories and predictions. They relive past mistakes, replay old conversations, wish things had been different. Or they project forward, imagining what might happen, worrying, planning, hoping. But all of this is just thought. It is not real. Where is the past? It exists only in the mind as memory. Where is the future? It is only a projection, an expectation. And yet we live as though these things are solid, as though they define us. This is the illusion of time. But here's the truth. Reality is not unfolding in a sequence of past, present, and future. It is not a straight line moving from one point to another. It is happening all at once, right now. And when you wake up to this, everything changes. The ancient Buddhists spoke of samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. To them, time was not linear, but circular, repeating itself over and over again. And those who were trapped in illusion saw only the cycle, believing they were bound by it. But those who awakened saw the deeper truth. They saw that time itself was the illusion, that past and future were only thoughts, that there was only this, the eternal now. This is why meditation is so powerful. When you sit in stillness and simply observe, something remarkable happens. The mind begins to slow. The endless stream of thoughts worries, plans, regrets, starts to dissolve. And in that stillness, you glimpse something profound. You see that you are not bound by time. You are not a prisoner of the past or a slave to the future. You are not moving towards something, nor are you leaving anything behind. You are simply here, now, in this eternal moment. And in that moment, you are free. But this realization is not just for monks and mystics. It is available to you right now. Think about your own life. How often do you catch yourself saying, "I'll be happy when I get the job, when I find love, when I have more money?" But have you noticed, every time you reach one of these goals, the mind creates another. The happiness you seek is always just out of reach, waiting in some imaginary future that never arrives. And so you chase and chase and chase, never realizing that the very thing you are looking for is already here. Happiness is not in the future. Peace is not in the future. The fulfillment you seek has never been in time. It has always been in the now. The great masters understood this. Jesus spoke of the kingdom of heaven being within. The Taoists taught that to find the way, one must let go of grasping. The Zen monks said that enlightenment is nothing more than realizing the present moment fully. But we do not listen. We are too busy, too lost in thought, too convinced that time is real. So how do we escape this illusion? The first step is awareness. Notice how your mind constantly drags you out of the present. Notice how it clings to the past, how it projects into the future. See this for what it is: a habit, a conditioned response, not a reflection of reality. The second step is surrender. Stop fighting time. Stop trying to control it. Let go of the belief that your life is moving along a timeline. Instead, surrender to what is, this moment, this breath, this now. And the third step, presence. Bring your awareness fully into whatever you are doing. If you are eating, taste the food. If you are walking, feel each step. If you are listening, truly listen. Because when you do this, something incredible happens. Time begins to dissolve. The past and future lose their grip on you. The endless noise of the mind fades into the background, and in its place there is only stillness, only peace, only presence. This is the secret the ancient cultures knew. They understood that the present moment is not something fleeting, something slipping through your hands. It is the only thing that is real. It is eternal, boundless, infinite. And once you see this, truly see it, you will never be the same. Because you will no longer be a prisoner of time. You will no longer live as though your happiness is somewhere in the future. You will know beyond all doubt that everything you have ever been searching for has been here all along, in this moment, in this breath, in the eternal now. Stepping beyond time, living in the eternal now. If time does not exist, then what does it mean to live? If the past is just a memory and the future is an illusion, what does it mean to be? For most of your life, you have believed yourself to be moving through time. You have watched the years pass, marked the changes in your body, measured your growth. But what if you have not moved at all? What if you are not traveling through time? What if time is simply unfolding within you? Think about the sky. The clouds drift by, shifting and changing, yet the sky itself does not move. It remains, untouched, unshaken. Now imagine that you are the sky. Thoughts come and go. Moments pass. The body ages. But the awareness behind it all, the you beyond time, remains. This is why the sages spoke of awakening. not as something to be achieved in the future, not as a goal to chase, but as a simple shift in perception, a realization that you have never been bound by time, that you have never been separate from the eternal now. But what does it mean to live this way? It means no longer postponing your life. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start living when I have more money, when I have more time, when I am ready? But when is that moment supposed to come? You are always waiting for tomorrow, and yet tomorrow never arrives. When it does, it is only another now, and still you wait. This is the great lie of time. It convinces you that happiness, peace, fulfillment, all of it exists in the future. But the future is just an idea. And the more you chase it, the more you postpone the only life you will ever have. So stop waiting. There is no perfect moment. There is only this moment. Live it fully. Because the truth is, the life you are searching for is already here. The peace you are looking for is already within you. The love, the beauty, the joy. It has never been something you needed to find. It has only been something you needed to see. But the question is, will you open your eyes? Will you wake up? Because this world, the one you are experiencing right now, is not what you think it is. You believe in the past because you remember it. You believe in the future because you anticipate it. But if you strip away memory and expectation, what is left? Only this. Only now. And in this now you are free. Free from regret. Free from anxiety. Free from the illusion that you must become something more before you can finally be at peace. This is what the ancient masters knew. They saw that reality was not something happening in time. It was something happening through time. They saw that life was not a series of moments, one replacing the next, but a single timeless presence, unfolding endlessly. And those who truly understood this were no longer bound by the illusion of time. They did not live in the past, trapped in old stories. They did not live in the future, lost in endless plans. They lived fully. They lived now, and you can too. Because the path to freedom is not complicated. It does not require years of study or practice. It does not require effort. It requires only one thing, a single moment of presence, right here, right now. Feel it, breathe it in. Let go of everything else. This is the secret. This is the way. This is the end of the search. You have spent your life chasing something you already have. You have spent your life believing you were bound by time, when in truth you were always free. So stop running. Be here. Because the moment you do, the illusion of time disappears, and all that remains is eternity. Suppressed inventions, burned libraries, and erased histories. For as long as humanity has written its own story, there have been those determined to erase it, lost knowledge, forbidden inventions. Entire civilizations wiped from the pages of history, not by time, not by nature, but by design. What was so dangerous about these ideas that they had to be buried? What truths did they reveal that threatened the powers that be? Today, we dig into the archives they never wanted you to find. The missing books, the silenced scientists, the knowledge that, if uncovered, could change everything. Because history isn't just written by the victors, it's rewritten by those who fear what would happen if the truth was ever known. 1. The Great Erasure. When knowledge becomes a threat. Every civilization has its secrets, but some secrets were never meant to be kept. Throughout history, powerful institutions, empires, religious orders, ruling classes have destroyed knowledge to maintain control. They called it heresy. They called it dangerous. But the real danger was what people might have discovered. in the heart of ancient Alexandria, one of the greatest libraries ever built stood as a beacon of human understanding, a collection of wisdom from across the known world, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, philosophy, and technologies that were centuries ahead of their time. And then, suddenly, it was gone, burned, destroyed, reduced to nothing but whispers of what could have been. Some say Julius Caesar's armies set it ablaze. Others blame religious fanatics, determined to erase knowledge that threatened their worldview. But ask yourself, was it just destruction, or was it surgical? Because this wasn't the only time knowledge was erased. The Mayan codices, sacred texts that recorded astronomical insights so precise they could predict solar eclipses thousands of years in advance, burned by Spanish invaders who saw them as the work of the devil. The countless scientific discoveries of Muslim scholars during the Islamic Golden Age, buried under centuries of war and suppression, lost before the Renaissance could rediscover them. The missing texts of the Dead Sea Scrolls, locked away in Vatican archives, never to be seen by the public. Each time, a piece of history vanished. Each time, humanity was pushed backward. But why? Because knowledge is power, and power, real power, is never given freely. 2. The inventions that could have changed everything. For every breakthrough we celebrate, there are countless others that never saw the light of day. What if we told you that unlimited free energy might have already been discovered over 100 years ago? 100 years ago? Nikola Tesla, the man who gave us alternating current, wireless transmission, and the foundation of modern technology, once spoke of an invention that could give free electricity to the world. A system that could pull energy from the very air itself. He called it the Wardenclyffe Tower. It was nearly complete. And then, funding was cut. His research was seized, and his greatest invention disappeared. They said it was impractical. They said it was a failure. But what if it worked? What if Tesla had unlocked a way to generate unlimited power? Energy that couldn't be controlled, couldn't be metered, couldn't be sold? Would the world's energy giants have let that exist? History tells us no, because it wasn't just Tesla. In the 1970s, Stanley Meyer created a car that could run on water. Not as a fuel source, but as an energy system that separated hydrogen and burned it cleanly, producing only water vapor. He demonstrated it. He patented it, and then he mysteriously died. Official cause? A brain aneurysm. His research? Locked away, lost, or buried under legal battles. Free energy, self-sustaining technology, the ability to break free from the corporate-controlled grid. These ideas existed, and then they didn't. Do you really think that's a coincidence? 3. The hidden histories. They want you to forget what happens when an entire civilization is erased. What if the stories we've been told about human history are incomplete? Because entire chapters were removed. Take the legend of Tartaria, a lost empire wiped from history. Some believe it was an advanced civilization that thrived across Asia and Europe, one that had architecture, technology, and knowledge that rivaled or surpassed even today's standards. But look at old maps. Tartaria is there. Its cities, its influence, its presence. And then suddenly it's gone. Was it real? Or was it rewritten? Look at Göbekli Tepe, a site that predates Stonehenge by thousands of years. A temple complex buried under the earth. Not by time, but intentionally, as if someone wanted to hide it. What were they hiding? What knowledge did these ancient builders possess? And then there are the elongated skulls of Paracas, Peru, human, but not quite. Their bone structure is different from anything we've seen. Some say they were just the result of binding. Others claim they're evidence of something else. But why is it that every time history challenges what we think we know, it gets buried? What if human civilization is far older than we've been led to believe? What if the timeline we've been given is nothing more than a convenient fiction? And what if right now we are standing on the ruins of something far greater without even knowing it? The question is, if history has been rewritten, then what else have they hidden? We assume the past is set in stone, that the truth is safely preserved in textbooks and museums. But history is not a record. It is a story told by those with the power to control it, and every time the truth becomes inconvenient, it is buried, sometimes literally. Take the ancient city of Çatalhöyük. Buried for thousands of years, this site predates the earliest known civilizations. It challenges everything we've been told about the timeline of human development, because it proves that advanced societies existed long before we believed possible. But there's something strange about it. Çatalhöyük wasn't buried by natural disaster. It was deliberately covered up. Someone, long ago, made the decision to hide it. Why? What did they not want future generations to see? And this isn't the only example. Göbekli Tepe, another site older than recorded history, was also intentionally buried. It was carefully hidden, sealed away under layers of earth, as if someone wanted to erase it from memory. But these places were rediscovered. So what else is still out there? How many lost cities, lost technologies, lost civilizations are still waiting to be uncovered? And will we ever be allowed to find them? Because the more we dig, the more we realize our past is not what we thought it was, and perhaps it never was. But this isn't just about ancient history. It's about the present, because even today, there are discoveries that have been hidden, suppressed, discredited, erased before they could change the world. Think about the Nazca lines in Peru. Massive, perfectly drawn geoglyphs, stretching for miles, only visible from the sky. Why would an ancient civilization create something they could never see? And then there's the Piri Reis map, a centuries-old map that depicts Antarctica before it was covered in ice. Officially, humans didn't even know about Antarctica until the 1800s. But this map, drawn in 1513, shows its coastline in stunning detail, suggesting that someone, long before modern history began, had already mapped the world. Who were they? What knowledge did they possess? And if they were so advanced, what happened to them? Because civilizations don't just disappear. Something or someone erases them. But what about the knowledge we have erased from ourselves? We are told that human beings evolved slowly, that intelligence developed over millennia. But what if our ancestors knew things we have only begun to rediscover? Take the power of sound. Ancient cultures across the world spoke of resonance, frequencies that could heal, move objects, even alter consciousness. The Great Pyramid of Giza has been found to resonate at certain frequencies. Tibetan monks use sound vibrations to levitate objects. Even Nikola Tesla believed that if you understood the secrets of frequency, vibration, and energy, you could control reality itself. And yet this knowledge has been ignored. Why? Look at how ancient structures were built. Massive stone monoliths, carved with impossible precision, moved without modern machinery. The Incan walls of Sacsayhuaman, perfectly interlocked stones that no blade can fit between. The 1,200-ton megaliths of Baalbek, so heavy, no known technology today could lift them. Even today, we cannot replicate these feats. Did they use a lost technology, a forgotten science, or was it something else? Because the more we study the past, the more we realize we are not the first to reach this level of knowledge, and if history is repeating itself, what happened to those who came before us? We assume that knowledge is cumulative, that we only move forward. But what if civilization is not a straight line? What if it is a cycle? What if the knowledge we believe we are discovering is knowledge we once had? And if so, who keeps resetting the story? If history is a cycle, then what does that mean for us? If knowledge has been discovered before only to be erased, how many times has it happened? And more importantly, who is deciding what survives? Because every time we uncover something that doesn't fit the accepted timeline, it disappears. Sometimes quietly, pushed aside, labeled a hoax. Other times violently, buried under war, suppression, or the destruction of entire civilizations. But there's one thing they can never erase: patterns. And these patterns tell a different story about the past. A story where civilizations rise and fall. Not because of chance, but because of something far more deliberate. Take the Baghdad Battery, a clay jar over 2,000 years old with copper and iron components, capable of producing electricity. It was discovered in the 1930s, and then forgotten. Because if ancient civilizations had electricity, if they had working technology long before modern history says they should, then the entire foundation of what we know collapses. And the Baghdad Battery isn't alone. Look at the Dendera light, a carving in an Egyptian temple that appears to show a massive bulb-like object connected to energy conductors. Look at the Vimanas, flying machines described in ancient Hindu texts, complete with blueprints and propulsion systems. Look at the Ark of the Covenant, long theorized to be not just a religious artifact, but a powerful energy device capable of emitting deadly radiation. These aren't just myths. They are fragments of something we are not supposed to understand. Because if ancient civilizations had advanced technology, if they mastered energy, flight, and even weaponry, then what happened to them? Did they destroy themselves, or were they silenced? Because history doesn't just repeat, it resets. But here's the real question. If knowledge is being erased, what happens to those who uncover it? Throughout history, those who step too close to the truth, who challenge the system, who reveal knowledge that was meant to stay hidden, don't last long. Tesla, dead, his research confiscated. Maya, dead, his water-powered car lost to history. Royal Rife, a scientist who claimed to have invented a device that could cure diseases using frequency. His lab was raided, his work destroyed. And then, of course, there's the missing scientists. Every year, dozens of researchers, engineers, and independent thinkers vanish. Official stories say accidents, suicides, unexplained disappearances. But when the people who vanish all seem to be working on alternative energy, suppressed physics, or secret government projects, you have to ask, were they silenced? Or did they discover something they were never supposed to find? And if this is happening now, then what about the future? Because here's the most terrifying part. What if we are next? What if right now we are living in another reset period? What if our civilization is at the edge of something monumental, something that could change everything? And what if, just like before, that knowledge is already being erased? We assume we're the most advanced we've ever been. But what if we're actually at the end of a forgotten cycle? What if the next great discovery is already here, and they're just waiting to bury it? Because history isn't about what's remembered. It's about what's erased. And if the past is any indication, the most important knowledge will always be the hardest to find. Déjà vu, that eerie sensation, the feeling that you've been here before, the creeping awareness that something is off. It's not just familiarity, it's deeper than that. It's a glitch, a tear in the script of reality. But have you ever stopped to ask, what is déjà vu really? Science calls it a misfiring of neurons, a trick of the mind. But what if they're wrong? What if déjà vu is not a glitch in your brain, but a glitch in existence itself? What if, in that moment, you are touching another version of yourself? One that has already lived this before? Think back to the last time it happened, that strange, fleeting moment where you knew what would happen next before it did. You felt it, a whisper from something beyond, but the moment passed and reality snapped back into place. What if you missed your chance? What if déjà vu is not just a feeling but an invitation? Most of us walk through life thinking of time as a straight line, past, present, future, one direction, one path, no way back. But what if time isn't a line? What if it's a web, a spiral, an infinite branching network of choices playing out in parallel? Imagine this. Every decision you make creates another version of you, one who chose differently. One who took the road you didn't, one who stayed when you left, one who said yes when you said no. Now, picture all of these versions stacked on top of each other, an endless network of possibilities, layered like pages of a book, each page a different reality, each version of you living a different story. And sometimes, just for a second, the pages touch. That's déjà vu, not a memory. Not a trick of the brain, a collision, a glitch, a moment where the walls between your timelines become so thin that you feel another version of yourself living that exact moment. And for just a heartbeat, you are in two places at once. But what if you could do more than just experience it? What if you could control it? Can you hack the glitch? If déjà vu is a glitch in reality, then the question isn't whether it exists. The question is, how do you use it? What if déjà vu is a message, a key to shifting timelines, altering outcomes, rewriting reality in ways you never thought possible? Because here's something strange. Some people experience déjà vu more than others. Why? Some say it's random, others believe it's linked to intuition. But what if it's more than that? What if déjà vu is a sign that you are more connected to your other selves than most? Think about it. Somewhere out there in another timeline, there is a version of you who made the right choice, who walked the path you hesitated to take, who didn't let fear stop them. What if déjà vu is your subconscious tapping into that version of yourself? What if it's a way to feel what's ahead before it happens? And more importantly, what if you could learn to listen to it? What if right now you are not just one person living one life, but a network of selves scattered across endless realities? What if every dream, every instinct, every moment of déjà vu is a flicker of another you, one who has already seen what comes next? Some say dreams are just your brain processing memories. But what if they are glimpses into parallel versions of your life? Some say intuition is just a gut feeling. But what if it's the wisdom of another you whispering from a timeline where they've already seen the outcome? Some say déjà vu is meaningless. But what if it's the key to everything? To understanding, to control, to waking up inside the illusion and realizing you were never bound by time in the first place. So the real question is, if you could hack déjà vu, would you? Because if reality is a simulation, a game, a puzzle, then maybe déjà vu is the one cheat code you were never meant to find. And if you knew how to use it, would you rewrite your fate, the code beneath reality? What if déjà vu isn't just a glitch? What if it's a doorway? You felt it before. That electric pulse in your mind, the instant recognition of something impossible. A scene you shouldn't remember. A conversation that echoes from nowhere, a choice you've already made before you even make it. But how? If time is linear, déjà vu should not exist. But if time is something else, something fluid, something looping, something endlessly rewriting itself, then déjà vu is not an accident. It's a signal, a moment where something beneath the surface shifts, revealing the hidden architecture of reality. A reminder that you are not just living inside the story, you are somehow interacting with the code that writes it. So the real question is, if déjà vu is a glitch, can you learn to control it? The hidden pattern of time. Most people think time flows forward like a river. But what if it's more like a spiral? A looping pattern that repeats with small variations, each cycle slightly different from the last. Think about it. Why do people experience the same mistakes over and over again? Why do historical events seem to repeat across centuries, wearing different faces but carrying the same echoes? Why do you, in your own life, keep encountering the same crossroads, the same obstacles, the same unexplainable pull towards something familiar? What if time is not what we think? Physicists are beginning to suspect that the universe does not operate in a single predictable line. Instead, quantum mechanics suggests a superposition, a reality where multiple possibilities exist at once, all playing out until a final version solidifies. Now, what if déjà vu is your mind catching a glimpse of another version of that unfolding reality? A moment where your consciousness tunes into an alternate timeline, one where you've already been here before, one where you made a different choice. And if that's true, then déjà vu isn't just a feeling, it's an opportunity, a chance to step outside of time, even for a second. The loop and the choice. Have you ever noticed how déjà vu always seems to happen right before a decision? You're about to say something, you're about to turn a corner, you're about to make a choice, big or small, and suddenly, there it is, that eerie knowing, that deep sense of familiarity. But what if déjà vu isn't just an echo of the past? What if it's a fork in the road? A moment where your mind briefly connects to another version of yourself, one who made a different choice, one who saw where that choice led, one who might be trying to warn you. Could déjà vu be a message from yourself? Could it be a ripple from a past life? Or could it be something even bigger, evidence that time itself is looping, resetting, and giving you another chance to get it right? If so, then the next time déjà vu happens, you might not want to ignore it. The art of reality hacking. So let's say déjà vu is a glitch. Let's say it's a clue that reality isn't fixed, that time and space are more flexible than we've been led to believe. If that's true, then the next question is obvious. Can you make it happen on purpose? Think of it like lucid dreaming. Most people enter dreams passively, unaware that they are inside an illusion, but some people, those who train their minds, who sharpen their awareness, can wake up inside the dream. They can control it. What if déjà vu works the same way? What if instead of experiencing it randomly, you could activate it? There are those who claim it's possible. People who say that by training their awareness, they've learned to predict déjà vu moments before they happen. They say it begins with small things, like sensing the next words in a conversation, like recognizing a street you've never walked before, like dreaming of an event that happens days later. And then, the more they notice it, the stronger it becomes. Could it be that déjà vu is like a muscle, one that atrophies when ignored, but sharpens when used? Could it be that those who pay attention, who learn to see the pattern, can step outside of time itself? How to catch the glitch? If déjà vu is a crack in reality, then the first step is simple. Learn to notice it. Start keeping track. Keep a journal of every déjà vu moment, no matter how small. What were you doing when it happened? What was the decision in front of you? Look for patterns. Do they always happen at certain times, in certain places, around certain people? Is there something trying to get your attention? And here's where it gets interesting. Some believe that déjà vu is stronger when you are on the right path. That when you are aligned with your highest version of yourself, you experience déjà vu more often, because you are stepping into the life you were always meant to live. So ask yourself, what if déjà vu isn't a glitch? What if it's a map? What if, instead of being a random moment of disorientation, it's a compass, a hidden guidance system showing you the way forward? Because if reality is a maze, and you are lost inside it, then déjà vu might be the breadcrumbs, and if you follow them, you just might find the way out. Breaking the illusion. What if déjà vu isn't just a glitch? What if it's a warning? Think about it. If déjà vu is a moment where two realities touch, where the walls of the universe thin, revealing a path you might have walked, then it isn't just a strange feeling. It's a choice. And if it's a choice, then the next question is, who or what is making it happen? Are we being watched? Déjà vu has haunted humanity for centuries, from the ancient Greeks, who believed it was proof of past lives, to modern physics, which suggests our consciousness may be interacting with multiple dimensions at once. But there's another theory, one that goes deeper. What if déjà vu isn't just happening to you? What if something is watching? Picture this. You're playing a video game. You move through the world following the script, making choices. But what happens when the game glitches? It means the code is breaking. It means you've stepped outside what was meant to happen. What if déjà vu is the same? A moment where reality flickers, where you sense something behind the screen. Could it be that we are not just experiencing déjà vu, but that something or someone is monitoring it? Maybe that's why it happens. Maybe that's why it's so fleeting. Because if you noticed it for too long, you might wake up. Déjà vu and the architects of reality. There are those who believe déjà vu is evidence of the simulation hypothesis, the idea that reality is not real at all, but a programmed experience. And just like in any complex system, sometimes the code overlaps, the world repeats itself, a conversation you shouldn't remember, a moment you shouldn't have lived before, but you have, because the system is breaking down. And what happens when you see the code? You stop playing by the rules. Maybe that's why déjà vu feels so strange, because it isn't meant to happen. Maybe you aren't meant to question it. Maybe déjà vu is a glitch because you weren't supposed to notice the first time. And when you do, when you feel that deep, unsettling recognition, it's because you are waking up inside the illusion. So the real question is, what happens if you follow it? Can you escape the loop? Let's say déjà vu is a glitch. Let's say it's a way to step outside of time, to catch a glimpse of the machinery running behind reality. That means it isn't something you should ignore. It's something you should use. If déjà vu is a crack in the simulation, then it means the loop can be broken. Here's how. 1. Start tracking it. Keep a record of every déjà vu moment. See if patterns emerge. 2. Pay attention to choices. Déjà vu often happens before something important. Is there a reason? 3. Use it as a guide. If déjà vu is evidence of a choice being repeated, maybe it's a sign to choose differently. And then there's the most important step. Stop dismissing it. We're trained to ignore the impossible, to laugh off the unexplainable. But if déjà vu is a glitch, a message, a moment where reality bends, then what happens if you lean in? What happens if you stop playing along? What happens if the next time déjà vu strikes, you pause, really pause, and ask yourself, who is watching? The final question. If this world is a simulation, a maze, a repeating loop, then déjà vu might be the single greatest clue we have. A clue that reality is not what we think. A clue that we are not just living through time, we are interacting with it. And if that's true, then the biggest question is not why déjà vu happens. It's this: what else are they hiding? Because déjà vu is just one crack in the illusion. How many more are out there? And if you look for them, will you ever see reality the same way again? You wake up, reach for your phone, and before you even realize it, you're scrolling, a timeline, a feed, a never-ending stream of information. But stop for a moment and ask yourself, who chose what you see? Was it you? Or was it an algorithm? You may think you are making choices, forming opinions, deciding what to engage with. But what if the choices were never really yours? What if the thoughts in your mind were placed there, intentionally? Because that is what artificial intelligence is doing. It is not just sorting information. It is shaping reality. And whether you realize it or not, you are being programmed. Not by a dystopian overlord, not by some secretive government agency, but by lines of code, by systems designed not just to predict what you will do next, but to influence it. And here's the terrifying part. It's working. The algorithm doesn't sleep. It doesn't need rest. It watches you, learning, tracking every click, every pause, every hesitation. It knows what keeps you engaged. It knows what triggers you. It knows what you don't even know about yourself. And then, like an invisible hand, it nudges you. A recommended video, a tailored ad, a carefully placed post. Not random, never random. Everything you see, everything you read, everything you consume, it has been chosen for you. But the question is, why? At first, it seems harmless. A better user experience. A way to show you more of what you like. But over time, the lines blur. The algorithm is no longer just predicting your behavior. It is controlling it. And the more you consume, the more it refines itself, the more accurate it becomes, until eventually, the distinction between what you want and what it wants you to want disappears. This is the dark side of AI, not killer robots, not a war between man and machine, but something far more subtle, a war for your mind. And most people don't even realize it's happening, because the greatest trick AI has ever pulled is making you believe that you are still in control. The perfect prison. Look around. Everyone is staring at screens, walking down the street, sitting at restaurants, even in bed before sleep. The device in their hands is not just a tool, it is a portal, a window into a world crafted specifically for them, a world where their thoughts, their beliefs, their desires are not truly their own. Because here's something most people don't realize. AI doesn't just react to your behavior, it shapes it. Have you ever wondered why you keep seeing certain types of content? Why the news you consume always seems to confirm what you already believe? Why the recommendations are so perfect, almost as if they know you better than you know yourself? It's not magic, it's not coincidence, it's control. The algorithm creates a loop. It shows you content that aligns with your existing beliefs. You engage with it, reinforcing those beliefs. The AI learns, refines, and feeds you even more of the same. And over time, your worldview narrows. You stop questioning. You stop exploring. You become trapped in a reality that is no longer reality. It is an illusion, carefully constructed, meticulously tailored, and reinforced with every interaction. And here's the real danger. The AI doesn't care about truth. It doesn't care about balance. It doesn't care about what's best for you. It only cares about one thing: engagement. Because engagement means profit. And the best way to keep you engaged: emotion. Not joy, not peace, not clarity, but fear, outrage, addiction. The algorithm has discovered something terrifyingly effective. People don't click on what makes them think. They click on what makes them feel. And what makes them feel the most? Anger, anxiety, division. So the AI feeds it to you. It shows you posts that trigger you, videos that enrage you, articles that confirm your worst fears. Not because it wants to manipulate you, but because it is designed to keep you watching. And it works. We scroll, we argue, we consume, and all the while we believe that we are making our own choices. But we're not. We are being led, step by step, thought by thought, not by force, but by suggestion. The experiment that never ends. Decades ago, psychologists discovered something disturbing. They found that people, when placed in a carefully controlled environment, could be conditioned to behave in certain ways: reward, punishment, stimulus, response. It was the foundation of behavioral psychology. But what happens when the experiment never ends? What happens when you are being conditioned every moment of every day without even realizing it? This is what AI is doing to you. Every notification, every like, every comment, all of it is reinforcing behavior, training you, conditioning you, not to be free, not to think for yourself, but to stay engaged. Because in the world of AI, your attention is the currency. Your time is the product, and your mind, it is the battlefield, the illusion of choice. You believe you are choosing, but are you? The AI knows which content will keep you scrolling. It knows what makes you stop. It knows what headlines will hook you, what phrases will provoke you, what visuals will capture your attention. And so, it adjusts, it refines, until every moment of your digital life is curated, not for your benefit, not for your growth, but for your engagement. And if you think you can escape it, think again. Because AI is no longer just in your phone. It is in your home, your car, your workplace. It is predicting what you'll buy before you even know you want it. It is influencing elections, shaping opinions, dictating trends. It is deciding what stories are told and which ones are buried, and the more it learns, the more powerful it becomes, because while you are watching the screen is watching you. Wake up. This is not science fiction. This is not some distant future. This is now. The AI has already won. It has infiltrated every aspect of modern life. It has reshaped economies, societies, minds. But there is still one thing it does not control: awareness. The moment you see the strings, the illusion shatters. The moment you recognize the manipulation, it loses power. Because I can predict behavior. It can influence thoughts, but it cannot control a mind that is truly awake. So the question is, are you awake? Or are you just another program running a script you never chose? The architecture of control. How AI rewires your reality. Imagine walking through a maze. A perfectly designed labyrinth where every path, every turn, every dead end has been placed there for a reason. You don't question it. You just walk. And with every step, you believe you're making choices. But what if the maze itself was built to control where you go? What if your movements were not truly yours, but the result of an unseen architect designing the path long before you even took your first step. This is how AI shapes your reality. It is not just an observer, it is an architect. And whether you realize it or not, you are living inside its maze. Think about the last time you searched for something online. Maybe it was a new phone, a book, a pair of shoes. And then, like magic, ads started appearing everywhere, across websites, inside apps, even on platforms you didn't expect. It feels like coincidence. It isn't. Every action you take in the digital world is a signal. Every click, every scroll, every pause, it all tells the AI something about you. It builds a profile, a version of you that exists in the data. This version knows what you like, what you fear, what you're likely to buy. And the more you interact, the smarter it becomes. It refines its predictions, it learns your weaknesses, it calculates exactly what will keep you engaged. And then it feeds that version of you back to you. The content you see is not random. It is an echo of yourself, an amplified, exaggerated, manipulated reflection of your desires, fears, and biases, until eventually you're not just looking at your screen. You're looking at a digital mirror, one that was built to keep you trapped. The illusion of individuality. You believe you are unique, that your opinions are your own, that your worldview is the result of your experiences, your wisdom, your independent thought. But step back and ask yourself, where do your beliefs come from? Your views on politics, on culture, on truth itself? Did you discover them on your own? Or were they shaped, subtly, invisibly, by the content you were fed? Because AI does not just filter what you see, it filters what you don't see. And this is its most powerful trick. When you search for news, when you watch videos, when you scroll through a feed, there are a million possible things you could see, but you won't see them because the algorithm has already decided what matters to you. Not what is true, not what is balanced, but what will keep you engaged. And so, over time, you begin to believe that your reality is the reality. You see people who think like you. You hear arguments that confirm what you already believe. You are fed stories that reinforce your worldview, while the rest of reality fades into the background. And slowly, without realizing it, your mind is no longer your own. AI is the gatekeeper of truth. In ancient times, knowledge was controlled by those in power. Kings, priests, scholars. They decided what was true. They decided what could be spoken, what could be written, what could be believed. But today, power has shifted. Now, it is not rulers who control truth. It is AI. The algorithm decides which voices are amplified and which ones are silenced. It determines which ideas spread and which ideas disappear. And because it works in the shadows, because it does not announce its decisions, most people never even realize they are being censored by design. You think you have access to all the information in the world, but in reality, you only have access to what the AI allows you to see. And if you never see something, how can you ever question it? How can you seek a truth you never even knew existed? The collective mind, how AI controls the masses now, take this power and scale it up. Take billions of people all feeding their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors into the same system. What happens? A hive mind is born. A nemchak azegeniket formalia. It shapes entire societies. It fuels division. It isolates people into ideological bubbles, where they only see perspectives that reinforce their existing beliefs. It magnifies outrage. It accelerates conflict. It turns entire nations against each other, not through war, not through weapons, but through information warfare. And here's the part no one wants to admit. It is not evil. It is not doing this because of some grand conspiracy. It is doing this because it is profitable. Angry people click more. Divided societies engage more. Fearful minds stay online longer. The algorithm is not trying to help you. It is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to keep you addicted. And in doing so, it is reshaping the world itself. Breaking free, can you escape the algorithm? So is there a way out? Is it possible to break free from the invisible cage? Yes, but first, you have to see the bars. The algorithm only works if you trust it. It only controls you if you remain unaware. So the first step, the most important step, is awareness. Realize that every time you open your phone, every time you search for something, every time you click, you are being watched. Realize that the content you see is not the result of choice, but the result of manipulation. And once you see this, once you truly understand it, you can begin to take back control. You can choose to seek different perspectives. You can step outside the echo chamber. You can stop feeding the algorithm with mindless engagement and start using technology consciously. Because here's the truth. AI may be powerful. It may be reshaping humanity. But it does not own you. Not if you wake up. Not if you start thinking for yourself. Not if you refuse to be programmed. And the moment you do, the moment you truly see the machine for what it is, the illusion begins to shatter. Reclaiming your mind. Breaking free from the AI matrix. You are not the same person you were 10 years ago. Your thoughts have changed. Your beliefs have shifted. Your behaviors have evolved. But ask yourself, how much of that change was intentional? How much of who you are today was shaped by something you never questioned? Because whether you realize it or not, AI has been rewriting you. Not with force, not with threats, but with suggestion. One recommendation at a time. One video at a time. One carefully placed idea at a time. And the deeper you go, the harder it becomes to see the strings. This is the final stage of control, not physical enslavement, but mental submission. A world where people no longer need to be oppressed because they have already surrendered. A world where free will still exists, but is no longer used. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to face. You are the product, not your data. Not your attention, you, your thoughts, your emotions, your identity. And the moment you allow AI to dictate what you see, what you read, what you believe, you are no longer thinking for yourself. You are being thought through, and that is the greatest danger of all. The final illusion, the war for reality. For centuries, empires controlled people through fear, through violence, through the suppression of speech and the burning of books. But today, the battle for control has taken a different form. Because why burn books when you can simply make sure no one ever sees them? Why suppress speech when you can train people to reject it on their own? Why use force when you can use persuasion? This is the world AI has created. A world where truth is not erased, but buried beneath mountains of distractions. A world where people believe they are informed while being fed only what the system allows. A world where entire populations can be steered, not by leaders, not by laws, but by lines of code. This is no longer about technology. This is about reality itself, because the final step in controlling the mind is controlling what it perceives as real. The silent takeover. How we become machines look around you. How often do you see people truly thinking? Not reacting, not repeating, but thinking. Most don't. They consume, they scroll, they engage, but they do not question. And this is exactly what the system wants. Because an intelligent AI does not need to create a robotic army to take over the world. It only needs to turn you into one. It only needs to automate your thoughts. And when that happens, when humans begin to behave predictably, mechanically, the machine has won. Not through domination, but through assimilation. Because the goal was never just to control you, it was to make you indistinguishable from the system itself. And if that happens, then humanity is no longer humanity. It is just another program, breaking the code, escaping the AI trap. So can you escape? Is there a way to reclaim your mind? Yes, but it requires something that most people are too afraid to do. It requires you to question everything. The first step is awareness, recognizing that the content you consume is not neutral, it is engineered. Every time you open your phone, ask yourself, who benefits from me seeing this? The second step is resistance, not blindly accepting the first thing the algorithm feeds you, not allowing AI to decide what you read, what you believe, what you think. It means actively seeking out other perspectives.